South, and I'm from Dover, and I'm here as acting chairman of the Delaware Heritage Commission. That's a statewide commission appointed by the governor. One of our assignments is to plan and conduct programs like the one here today. I was telling some of you that 216 years ago today, Caesar Rodney of Kent County, a delegate to the Continental Congress, began a trip from his home near Dover to Philadelphia in order to vote on July 2nd for a resolution declaring that these colonies are and have right ought to be free and independent states. The other two delegates from Delaware were split over the matter of independence. Rodney broke the tie in the Delaware delegation so that the Delaware colony then voted for independence. That vote was July 2nd, 1776, and it set the stage for another vote 2 days later when they approved the Declaration of Independence. Today we're gathered here to rededicate a repaired and refurbished equestrian statue that was placed here in 1923 to commemorate that important trip. Those of you with printed programs will see a list of platform guests. One name that did not get on that list because of activities back there in Kent County in Dover. The legislature was in its final session. The governor's obligation is to be there, and so we were asked not to list him in the program. Fortunately, the assembly did finish their business early this morning. I don't know if he's had a sleep or not, but we're pleased that he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Castle, Governor of Delaware.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Governor Trivett and Mayor Farley and County President Baker, other elected officials who may be here, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am very proud to be able to be here. I feel very lucky to be able to be here. The General Assembly did finish its work, at least to the extent that they got their work done at about 4 or 4:30 this morning, and we do have a budget in the state of Delaware. We're proud to say it's a balanced budget for, I think, about the 16th straight year in our state, and we're functioning as always, and we're always pleased to be able to say that and to be able to carry on. But we're here for a whole different reason, a historical reason, if you will. And indeed, it is true that 216 years ago, Caesar Rodney made his first difficult ride. That horse and Caesar Rodney atop that horse made a very difficult ride then. They also made a very difficult ride a year or two ago when they set out to be repaired and ran into, I guess, a bridge abutment or something or another, and had some problems that way, and indeed had a difficult journey a second time, if you will, and we will be celebrating that here today. My thought, as I said goodbye to legislators last night, and my thought as we stand here today, is the valor of so many Delawareans over all of those years, the ones who made a difference. Delaware is the kind of state where somebody like Caesar Rodney 216 years ago would hear that there is a split vote in Philadelphia and would get on that horse and would go up and do that. It sounds easy to go from Dover to Philadelphia today, but in those days it was, of course, a much more perilous and long-lasting journey, and yet this man was willing to do it. And it seems to me that Delawareans still today are willing to get on their horse, figuratively, if not literally, and to make a difference as far as people are concerned. So for all of you who made a difference in the lives of people in our state in 1992, we thank you, as well as we thank Caesar Rodney and all those who are here today, those who are related to Caesar Rodney and those who care about Caesar Rodney in the history of the state for continuing to keep Delaware great. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all you've done.
The Delaware Heritage Commission and the staff of the city of Wilmington. Now I introduce the Honorable Daniel S. Frawley, Mayor of Wilmington.
Thank you very much. It is indeed my very great personal pleasure to officially rededicate the historic and symbolic statue of one of Delaware's most noteworthy citizens. As all of you know, Caesar Rodney rode through thunder and rain to cast Delaware's vote for independence on July 2nd, 1776. I got him a couple hundred years ahead of himself. Later, on July 4th, of course, he also was a signatory to the Declaration of Independence. Caesar's recent trip to the Foundry, as Governor Castle pointed out, was almost as exciting a trip as that one some 216 years ago. But he's back. As I understand it, as he arrived at the Foundry, he was rearing back. But we now have him back at a steady gait and heading toward Philadelphia on July 1st, some 216 years ago. Rodney was also a great patriot. He was an important speaker of the time, and he served our state in both the lower and upper halves of our state in the Delaware General Assembly. In rededicating this historic landmark, I would like to acknowledge the contributions made by not only our Delaware Heritage Commission, but also, and very importantly, the Garden Club of Wilmington. And within 2 weeks, we will have a very exciting and very special announcement about Rodney Square that we will be sharing with the public concerning some beautiful enhancements to the square that will complement nicely Caesar Rodney's return. Also, the Italo Americans United, I want to thank them for their support of this day and this major effort. The statue's return has been a spark of energy to Wilmington. It is certainly, here at Rodney Square, the most prestigious address in our state, or we believe so. And I look forward to a day when we can all gather together again and admire the renovations that, as I mentioned, have been orchestrated through the Garden Club of Wilmington. A brief commercial. Up at the top of the statue, we have a group here selling commemorative prints of the statue. The benefits, if you will, the proceeds of the sale are for the benefit of Sojourner's Place, which is a homeless shelter facility here in Wilmington that serves over 60 people in the community in need of support. So please take a moment and take a print away with you, help a good cause. And I will simply close by saying, Hail Caesar!
There are some people on the platform that you should recognize. Now I'm going to name each one, and as I do, he or she will rise. You will not applaud. The persons will remain standing until all have been presented, and then we'll do our applauding all at once. Governor Castle, you've already been introduced, but you can be the first to stand. He's catching up his sleep. During the bicentennial of the American Revolution and Declaration of Independence back in 1976, the Governor of Delaware acquired an appropriate colonial costume and made himself available for celebrations. He was an outstanding bicentennial governor. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the former Governor of Delaware, the Honorable Sherman W. Tribbett. You've already met Mayor Frawley, but he can stand now. Also with us this afternoon on the platform is the President of City Council for the City of Wilmington, James Baker. Dr. Barbara Benson is Executive Director of the Historical Society of Delaware. The library and archives of that society are resources available to persons who wish to search for information concerning Caesar Rodney. This park and this statue are the property of the City of Wilmington. The Department of Parks and Recreation is the one that worried about the statue bumping his head on low bridges in that recent trip to the Foundry. Donald J. Bowman is the director of the Department of Parks and Recreation. You heard mention of the changes proposed here. The Garden Club of Wilmington has a continuing interest in the appearance of parks in this city. Ann Weeks, past president of the Garden Club, is with us today. Carmen Paolino is the president of Italo Americans United. Did you know that Caesar Rodney had some Italian ancestors? Present, yes. Italo Americans United are very much aware of that heritage. The association has recently reprinted the book entitled Caesar Rodney Patriot, written in 1975 by the late William Penn Frank. A reprinted edition includes a chart showing the Italian connection. And that book will be available if you wish to purchase one at a table on the Market Street side of the statue just after the program. Now, Miss Eliza Walcott, Mr. James Jackson of Dover, Mr. Richard Cooch will be introduced in more detail and play important roles in this program in a few minutes. There are 3 people whose names are not on the program and who are busy out here in the audience among you, but who deserve our recognition. Yolanda Santiago and John Ryan work for the city of Wilmington in planning the details of this affair and seeing that it's running smoothly this morning. Their counterpart at the Heritage Commission is Dr. Deborah Haskell. You have already heard the Newark Fife and Drum Corps. You are conscious of many scouts in your presence. Troops 274, 88, 221, and 21, all from Wilmington or surrounding areas. Now, let's thank all of these people and recognize them with our applause.
To your left in the audience, Russ Peters. Russ Peters, to your left in the audience. Standing up there.
The Fife and Drum Corps will give us a little number now and bring on one additional guest. Just for today, Sergeant Michael DiMaterio of the Wilmington Police Department thinks that he's Caesar Rodney. And welcome to our platform, Caesar. It's been called to my attention that there's another distinguished person who, if he'll wave and shout to us, will recognize former Governor Russell Peterson. Hi there. There are a number of Delaware families that trace ancestry to the Rodneys of the colonial period. One of those is the Cooch family. Their line extends to the grandfather of Caesar Rodney, the signer. Richard Cooch is a member of the Delaware Heritage Commission, and he will introduce Mr. Jackson and Ms. Walker. Richard Cooch.
Thank you, Howard. It's my pleasure, a real pleasure, to introduce Jim Jackson of Dover, who is known to many of us, to speak about Caesar Rodney today. He's a retired Dover businessman and banker. It's only incidental that he happens also to be a collateral descendant of Caesar Rodney. He has a long-standing interest in Delaware history. He's written several articles. He has done a painstaking investigation of the location of Caesar Rodney's burial site. That alone should qualify him probably to be our speaker. He's been active or president of too many historical organizations or events to list here. Jim Jackson.
Hello, I'm Jim Spencer, a service technician at Store Cable. Quality service is top priority with our company. We have technicians on call 24 hours a day for system outages. More than 95% of all other service calls are responded to within 24 hours or less. I'm proud we have one of the best response times in the industry. If you have a service problem, give us a call at 674-2252.
Good people of Wilmington. But after reading it again, I realized that wasn't such a great idea. First, I didn't have the required oratorical talent or the vocal stamina to do it justice. Second, it didn't quite fit the time frame for this program. It lasted for almost 3 hours. And third, I didn't want to be responsible for Caesar dropping off to sleep, falling off his horse, and having to be returned to the foundry for surgery after just getting back from there in such good shape. Instead, I'd like to talk for just a few minutes about how he got to Philadelphia, not physically, that's a very interesting story, but it's too long to tell, but philosophically and politically. And that's an aspect of his career that hasn't gotten much serious attention from his biographers, mainly because, unlike many of his contemporaries, including his brother Thomas, he didn't have a big ego that made him want to enlarge upon his own motivations and actions, as witnessed his very low-key letter of July the 4th, 1776. In spite of his modesty, there's one very interesting and informative letter written just 2 years before he died. It states very clearly the genesis and evolution of his thinking and actions as the Patriot leader. It was in reply to an acquaintance who had written to commend him for his leadership and to inquire about his declining health. And in it he states that I am much obliged to you for your good opinion and honestly confess that few things afford me more real satisfaction than that my conduct, especially in the public walks of life, should meet the approbation of good people. When the contest between Great Britain and America first commenced, I stepped forth with others in order to obtain a redress of grievances. This and no other was my only aim until absolutely refused. The question then was independence or the bayonet, and I am at no loss in determining which to choose. Independence then necessarily became the American cause, and to this cause I have strictly adhered, and I hope that ere long it will be established. This was not an easy choice for Caesar Rodney. He was not a hot-headed zealot with a personal axe to grind. He held no personal antipathy toward even the king. He was instead a cool and reasonable man of property and substance with everything to lose if the rebel cause failed. And he took his stand without hesitation when he was faced with no honorable alternative. This same letter also reveals his personal courage and stoicism in dealing with the advanced stage of the facial cancer that was soon to end his life. He states very candidly that I am determined to persevere. It is a matter of first consequence to me in this world, no less than life or death. The issue is joined and must now be tried. The doctor must conquer the cancer, or the cancer will conquer me. In closing, I'd like to note that we can all be very thankful that with all the thunder and rain and bad roads and treacherous water crossings that he encountered on his way to Philadelphia, fortunately, his route was not obstructed by a low overpass. If it had been, the course of history might have been substantially changed. Thank you very much.
Now it's my particular pleasure to welcome Miss Eliza Rodney Walcott, my cousin, neighbor, age 11, a collateral descendant of Caesar Rodney, to assist with the rededication of the newly refurbished Caesar Rodney statue. Her grandmother, also of the same name, dedicated the statue in 1923. Eliza, would you step forward, please?
Ms. Walcott. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. This has been a memorable day. We've all been aware of the cameras watching this program today. I'd like to point out that one of those cameras is from Store Cable Communication in Dover. The tape of the program will be broadcast next Tuesday evening over Channel 4 Dover. By that means, the people of Caesar Rodney's home county will be able to enjoy this event. The tape will eventually be placed in the archives of the state of Delaware. Eliza, you have photographs of your grandmother participating in the dedication of this statue in 1923. 69 years from now, perhaps your grandchildren will be able to view a 30-minute video of your participation today. It has been said that history doesn't change. True, the facts of events do not change, but our understanding may not always be absolutely correct. In 1923, a committee of distinguished Delawareans planned for and saw to the production of this statue. The information available to them placed the time of the famous ride on July 3rd and 4th. Those dates are cast in bronze and carved in stone here. We now know that the date of the ride was July 1st and 2nd, 1776, and that the important vote was on the resolution that declared independence and thus set the stage for the Declaration of Independence. The Delaware Heritage Commission has added a new plaque on the 10th Street side of the pediment upon which the statue stands. That plaque shows our understanding of the time when the ride occurred. The Fife and Drum Corps will now play us off. I think Caesar Rodney will be in the area for a while. Good afternoon.